The original text of this story contains links back to all referenced prior stories for context. A link to the text post can be found in the video's description.
Kids are, well, kids. I say that to say they're loud, they talk too much, they're restless, they test boundaries, and they have not yet learned that it is not normal to repeat everything they hear. Flip note to that last point, and given my breaking out into song with the last thing said to me, maybe I am still a kid. I say all that to say that the raising of kids should probably be more metered than the parents of Gen Xers like myself had available to us. You see, I never told anyone this, but before the beard and alcohol, I used to be a little kid. I was overactive, I talked too much, and I had a vivid fucking imagination. Imagine that. All of that. But something was always off, and we would later learn to call that ADHD. There were attempts to control this short of medication, nope, not in the 80s, and ass whoopings, yes, plenty of those in the 80s, and the middle ground that was attempted with me was bribery. Now, I should put bribery in quotation marks because there seemed never to be a real intent to actually pay the bribe, but just to move the goalpost until I lost interest. Like the time they promised me a pony. A pony? Yes, a motherfucking pony. To the 8 to 12-year-old mind, it is of no consequence of where the fuck we gonna put a pony and how we gonna feed a pony. It is just OMG pony. So what starts out with the loftiest of intentions of doing one's chores, doing well in school, not telling the neighbor lady to eat a bag of dicks, and finishing our vegetables often falls aside due to the fact that kids are kids. With that said, I never got that motherfucking pony, and I got a whole lot of highly questionable ass whoopings. Which brings me to a day at work a couple of weeks ago. Wait, I need to interject here how I've somehow earned the role of neighborhood dad. See, we left my pops when I was 11, and there was not much fathering to take place in the intervening years, and I hated that shit and swore never to exhibit that level of absenteeism with my own child or children when they got here. I have kept and will continue to keep my promise, and that lands us in the new house 2 years ago. My little one finally has neighborhood children outside to play with in a neighborhood with traffic for them to do so safely. I am always a close monitor without being a helicopter parent, usually from my open garage on my PlayStation or computer, or maybe on the weight bench. Whatever, I am always available. A bike needs to be fixed, a kid needs a Band-Aid, or $3 for the ice cream truck. I've gotten around to this by simply buying a large box of ice cream bars at the grocery store. I've noticed I am the only dad in this damn neighborhood, and therefore, neighborhood dad. Not to let you in on anything more than you need to know about me, but I really only like my kid and those of people close to me, but somehow despite this, I have accepted this neighborhood dad role, if only to give these kids, especially the boys, something I often wished for at their age. So anyway, work a couple of weeks ago. I was talking to an also virtual coworker friend named Glassley. She and her husband own a small farm with a few horses, some chickens, and a bunch of damn dogs. They had taken in a pony for God knows why, and that was the one they didn't quite have the bandwidth for. Since he had been free to them, and now I got all this fenced backyard space, they were willing to trailer him up and he would be free to me. So what you telling me here is, I'ma finally get my pony? In preparation for Spirit to arrive, and since the grass don't grow in the winter, I swung by Tractor Supply on Friday at lunch and got everything that a perfunctory Google search told me that I would need, and I was ready for him. Saturday morning, Glassley and her husband Bird backed up to the gate to let the new guy in. An hour and a half later, Ava wakes up. She comes downstairs, gives me a big hug, and speaks to each dog individually, and then goes to the kitchen to get herself a cup of coffee with whipped cream. The excited squeal that came from my kitchen at that moment is the absolute proof that God exists. Ava, Daddy, a pony! Yepers. What's his name? His name is Spirit. Can I touch him? He's very nice. Yes, you can. Can I tell my friends? Little girl, it is 9:41 a.m. You can tell them, but when they come outside later. She paced. She is absolutely my child because, damn it, she paced. She walked back and forth across the living room and kitchen to the deck doors to look at him, outside to touch him and talk to him sweetly. She texted her cousins and her little friends from school for 2 fucking hours. At noon, my previous position as the neighborhood dad was supplanted by that of neighborhood God. If the kids thought I was cool because I have RC cars, model cars mounted on my garage walls, a PS5, and a 240SX, they were near willing to sacrifice the weakest among them to ride the pony in my backyard. And while the kids squealed happily in the back, I cobbled together a rudimentary pull cart from pieces I found on Craigslist so Spirit could pull us around the neighborhood and show off to the retirees. Everyone ate it up. Parents were stoked that the kids wanted to play outside and not on devices and gadgets. It was so much so that people who had not spoken since the block party gathered in the street to converse while the elated children had the time of their lives. And it was fun until it wasn't. Wife person, Philip, we need to talk. Oh, fuck. Don't do that. All right. What's up? It's about Spirit. Oh, I knew it. What about him? Let me just say first that I love what you're doing. You've taken this neighborhood dad thing on full force, and you're loving it. And the kids are loving it. You can stop fattening on Nog now. Go ahead and get that knife ready. People are complaining about him pooing in the street during your little cart rides. Nah, my buddy would never poo in the streets of Greensboro. Philip. And besides, what about the little lady with that big-ass Anatolian shepherd a few doors up? I have seen that dog shit in the street. Philip. Damn thing shit is damn near big as mine. Philip! Shit look about the size of a small horse. Fuck. I'll pay the kids $10 to scoop it up. Okay, so we got a minorly shitty situation here, right? I bought a large scooper when we got Yeti, so the kids handled it pretty quickly. There was a majorly shitty situation festering, though. Apparently, my giving the kids rides with the pony went viral on TikTok and got a lot of local attention. In came the traffic with people looking to muscle my neighborhood kids aside so their snotty crotch goblins could get a chance, and that wasn't even the worst part. The internet is both the world's greatest tool and its worst weapon. The mention of ponies brings forth a group called Bronies, and rather than risk my website by linking to that shit, I'm going to ask you just to Google it, but not in mixed company. Now we have a problem. A dangerously toxic community of My Little Pony enthusiasts have descended upon my subdivision and are getting entirely too close to a group of children whose mothers and grandmothers have spent the last 2 years trusting me with. This just will not do. I called Glassley and Bird and explained the situation. They agreed that they could work out a situation in-house for them to keep Spirit on their farm, but that Iva and I and any number of the neighborhood kids could come and visit them any weekend we were free. Later that evening, I no longer had a pony at my house anymore. And to be frank, maybe my parents weren't wrong to not get me that damn pony in the first place.